Hi, welcome to the July session of Transaction Review and Calculator Practice. I'm glad to have you guys all here with me. I know a lot of you are listening to this after the fact, so I'm glad you're tuning in. As I mentioned, one of our members, Ken Buccio, has graciously agreed to show us a couple of deals that he's done in I think the last week or two, and so we're going to be going over that with him. Now, Ken, are you tuned in with audio?
Yeah, can you hear me, Don?
Oh, okay, great. I'm glad this worked out. It was nice having you on the virtual coffee chat last Saturday, and I think these are a couple of deals. Well, not this condo, I don't think, but because
Yeah, it is. No, the condo isn't part of the three-note deal, but I just wanted to put that on there to show our members that you don't have to go out and search the whole internet and make it a big deal. This was just a mortgage company that has trustee notes all day long, every month. They probably have 5 to 8 of them or more. And I just wanted to show the members that, number one, you do have to use a little bit of math because even though that this is pretty direct, there's no discount. I happen to use a service company on this, and instead of using them, service their own note for like 1%,
right,
yeah, is doing it $15. And
right.
if you do the math or the calculation on that, you're saving basically about 70, almost $70 a month. So that does add up if the note is going to go to a full term of 3 years
Oh,
instead of, you know,
yeah, exactly. And so before we get too far along, I just want to bring people along because they may not understand,
sure,
not everyone. So basically you're saying this I'm a note investor. Sometimes I originate. In this case, this is a just a
right,
private money loan, a hard money loan through
that's
a
correct.
broker. Other times you buy discounted paper from direct from the seller. So this is an example of where
That's
you
correct.
didn't have to go out and do the marketing. You're happy to get
Yeah,
a 10.81% on your.
correct.
Is it written at 11 or something?
No, it's written at 10.99, but after the service fee of
Fifteen
$15,
dollars.
it
Yeah.
comes to 10.81.
Okay, so just I want to bring everyone up to speed just in case so no one gets left behind. So they had this deal. Someone came to this mortgage broker in your area, right? It's pretty local.
That's correct.
Right.
That's
And
correct. It's 45 minutes away.
yeah, so they said, "Hey, Ken, we've got, this is one of our handful of deals this month. Do you want it?" Someone came to them for a loan. I'm guessing this is 184 is the value of the property.
184 is the estimated value. If the purchase price is 165, but the appraised value was 184.
Okay, so this a fix and flip kind of deal?
No, no, not to my knowledge. I mean, I didn't say on the notes I have, it's a 6 month prepayment penalty. So to me, it looks like they're probably going to try to refi maybe in, 2 years or something like that. But at this point, it's not a fix and flip. No,
Oh,
it's
is this
not.
owner occupied then?
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's a non-owner occupied residence.
Okay, great. And sorry if I'm not reading everything you have here, so just bear with
Oh,
me.
that's okay.
Yeah.
It says, yeah, down below where it says owner occupied, I put down no right on there. So that's okay.
Oh, is this no,
No,
no.
it's up a little bit higher.
Oh,
It's up a little bit higher. Go up, and it's right under the 184,000.
oh, there we go. Okay,
Go
gotcha,
down.
gotcha.
Yeah,
So,
right there. Yeah.
okay, and okay, great. So they're putting down. They're buying it for 165. They're putting down everything less what you're lending them. So they're
Correct.
still putting down a lot of money,
Right.
right?
Right. They're putting down the loan to value is 65% of the appraised,
Mm-hmm.
and the purchase price based on it was appraised at a higher rate is lower at 58 if you look at the appraised value
Exactly.
rather than
So
the purchase
so
price.
was this an REO short sale? How did they get it at a $20,000 discount?
I just believe this is the time that we're in, and they had the cash, and condos might not be as attractive as single-family residences. And, again, that appraised value is just a best guess estimate because things change rapidly in this kind of a market. So One of the reasons I didn't mind buying it, it's 45 minutes from my house.
Right.
The mortgage company is actually in Los Angeles that advertises, but the actual unit, the condo, is 45 minutes from my house. And after doing the math, if I needed to own it at 107,250 and it's appraised at 84, there's a huge equity there. Plus, I would still get, after renting it, $1,500 a month minus roughly 500 in expenses. On a cash on cash, I'd still get roughly 11%.
Right.
So I'd have a huge equity. Plus, if I wanted to keep it, I'd still have my
The, yeah.
$994 a month return.
Great. So you're getting it on a note. If you have to keep it and have it as a rental, you'll get your 11% return, whatever, pretty close to that.
Right.
Or if you end up owning it, which there's little chance of that, but
Correct.
you'll, even if you had to sell it fire sale, you're gonna make $30,000 at it on it. So
Right.
great. So the loan amount. So let's see. I'm just gonna go 165, and these are investors, and so minus the 107 that they borrowed.
Right.
So they're coming in with 50,750 down. So divided by the purchase price. They're at 35% down. So he's doing. That's where your LTV I guess is based on
Right.
that number, but
That's correct.
the appraisal is more,
It's even
so
lower.
right, so that's where you come up with your 58. So and then with the payment, so let's just recreate this note then. So it's 40 due in 3. That's really interesting. Is that how they
Yeah.
do a lot of their notes?
Not necessarily. I think it's just a way to get the borrower's payments down, rather than 30 years, and they know they're going to probably refinance anyway. Why not keep it down as low as
So keep
possible?
the protective equity growing even in the context of potential
Mm-hmm.
depreciation.
Right.
Okay, so then
Exactly.
it's 10.99. The broker's probably made 2 to 4 points on this, I'm guessing.
At
Yeah.
least.
So that would be 2,000, 3,000, maybe $4,000. There's the payment.
Right.
Okay. Uh, oops, what did I do wrong here?
Yeah, that's another payment. Go instead of 40, you need to go to 40 times 12
Oh,
on
oh, oh,
the end.
oh, it's
It's
amortized
not
over 40
40
years.
years.
Okay, I was thinking 40 months.
Yeah.
Okay, so 480.
No. That's why I'm saying that payments are a lot lower than 30
Gotcha.
years.
So it's almost interest only practically, isn't it?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, I don't know why they're even doing that's cool because it helps me out with a little bit less, more of a principal equity.
Right,
So.
right. So your capital stays working for you, and then, if we say,
Right.
okay, what's the amortization? The balance in 36 months it's down just a teeny bit. 106
Yeah.
719 44. So what's so you're
Exactly.
happy with this? This is great, solid return. You didn't have to spend a long time, researching it.
No, I didn't have to spend no, very little time. I just looked at the appraisal. I know the area a little bit, and like I say, it's very close to the house. And rather than worry about waiting for a fantastic discounted note, get that money working for you. It's in an IRA. Get it working for you right now. If you wait 3 or 4 months and you're making 15 or 16% after you waited for 3 or 4 months, you're back down to 11% anyway.
Right,
So, and they could sell that note in a year. That discounted note could be sold in a year, and you're at the same place
right.
anyway. So try to have some of your money working all the time, and then still have yourself ready for a discounted note at any time. But don't wait 6 months to a year to try to buy it.
Right.
Is
So
all I'm saying.
don't be crazy with the yields and let your money sit doing 0%, right? It's like, oh,
Yeah, I mean, I think almost 11% is pretty darn good in this market when a CD pays you 1%.
exactly. And so the point was, if they kept the servicing, they were going to charge you basically, they were going to give you a 9.99, right? So they
That
would
is
take a
correct.
1% servicing fee, so then you would get 9.99, so your monthly payment would be 909.87. So
Right.
besides the 2 or 3
Right.
points they got, they would be getting this extra. What is that? You said 70. Is that about right? Or 80? 80?
So it's basically about 80 plus dollars a month. But over a 3-year period, if the note goes that long, I'm saving over $3,000 by doing it with a servicing company. By just knowing I can go to a service company, I'm not even doing the servicing, and for $15 a month, I'm saving over $3,000. Big deal. It's costing me
Right.
$15. It's $150 a year or
Right.
whatever it is. Whatever.
Right.
$200.
So
Nothing.
basically, so we're going to take your payment. You're going to keep the whole thing. Instead of getting 909, you're going to get this plus, well, I have to add because it's a negative number, $15, right? So that's
Actually, it would be less. Yeah,
okay.
right.
So now I'll add
Yeah,
that
that is
in. Now
correct.
I'll
You're right.
calculate there. That's how you got your 10.81. Yeah,
There's where I
right, right,
get my
right. Okay, well, good.
10.81.
So
Yeah. And again, so we did get to use the financial calculator in this after all to just
right,
do
but
what you
it's
just
not
did.
necessary, right? Even if you ballpark it, who cares? So you're showing how easy it is can be
Yeah,
with a little knowledge that someone can get their
exactly.
money investing in notes right away.
Absolutely. And a lot of people know either their loved ones, relatives, or whatever. You know, they have 20,000 in an IRA or 40,000. Combine them together, buy the note together, and you're all making. You know, get a couple of people with 50,000, and you're both making 11% with 50,000. That you never had anything working for you if you get it into a
Yeah,
self-directed
yeah,
IRA.
excellent idea. Okay, so that's very awesome. And by the way, if the couple other people that are on the line, if you have questions or want to make comments, will you please use the chat button? So, and I'll try to engage you and unmute you if we can. All right, so then South Carolina note, and I'm going to clear all over here, but I'll get
Right.
this kind of out of the way. So unpaid balance. Okay, this is you had bought another note from this gentleman and he brought you 3 more. And this is one of those,
Correct.
right? So basically
Correct.
he had
That's
lent
correct.
$10,000 and they still owe it. It's interest only, so that's why
Correct.
there's no principal reduction. Interest rate's 24%. There's a balloon payment. Okay, so basically 10,000 just to make sure everyone gets so bored with this that they can times 0.24
Yeah.
equals 2,400 for the year divided by 12 equals 200 a month. So that's their interest only payment. The originate date, that's 2 years ago now. And they have another 7 years to go.
Right.
And
More than that, actually.
eight
It would
years.
be
Okay,
eight years.
great. So yeah, it's the simple math. I can't.
And let me
Yeah.
just tell you a little bit about this note here, Don, because like anything else, you're more aware than anyone would be. After I contacted the lady who is the borrower, she said she made a couple, maybe $150 to $125 or whatever, $175 in principal. So now, instead of the unpaid balance being $10,000, it's now $9,825. I just found that out today. So we can, and another thing is that after talking with her, she says, Ken, she said, and I'm not lying when I say this, she says, what do you mean by interest only? And she's just a sweet little lady. And I said, well, I said, you know, I said, all of the interest is collected on your note, and unless you pay extra to principal, that $200 will always be the same, and that $10,000 will not change because it's interest only. She says, oh, she says, well, I don't want to owe anything at the end of the note. She said, will you be of help to me and find out what I can do to make that no balloon payment? I said, well, absolutely I can. So this is where the financial calculator comes in. So if you want to, you can draw up there now that there's 98
Okay,
payments
98
left on
payments
their end.
left. Uh-huh.
The interest obviously stays the same
Right.
at 24%. That doesn't change. The present value is $9,825 because she put $175 extra to
Okay,
principal,
now
and that
this
was
is
all
before you bought
verified.
it or after you bought it?
This is after I bought it. These are the numbers that she has. This is when I bought it. Everything is before she makes my first payment. These are all the numbers balances and everything else just before we
Oh, so
closed,
then
or
before
at the same date that we closed,
got
basically. So these are my numbers.
okay, but did
These
the
are my
note
numbers now.
seller realize he like just forget, or did he lead you astray with the
No. The lawyer got the original note and it said 10,000 interest only, but they didn't read the note further down that they could make extra payments to principal, and they did make a couple $100, $175. So the lawyer
okay.
made a mistake on the original note, because after they did the mortgage balance, the new assessment mortgage balance, he put in the correct amount. They just didn't get that information, whatever, who knows for sure.
What
I know when I call up over there, everyone's got that South Carolina draw, and
right.
it just seems like everyone's at like a different speed than we are in
Yeah,
California and stuff. I don't mean
absolutely.
that in a
No,
negative
no,
way. They're just slow.
it's actually quite refreshing in a way. But yeah, it's a
Yeah.
very different. You gotta
And
just
yeah, and every time this lady that I'm dealing with, not the lawyer, but the secretary, her name is Becky, and she goes, "This is Becky," and I go, "I know Becky. You don't have to tell me. I know by your voice who I'm talking to." And she just starts laughing and stuff.
yeah.
But anyway, it's these are the numbers that I'm dealing with now, which would be that 9,825 under the present value. The payment obviously is still the same, 200, and then the future value would be 9,825
Right.
because that has not changed, which would mean interest only moving forward.
Right.
But since she said, "Ken, I'd like to pay it off in the next 8+ years." So I said, "Okay, I'll be more than happy to help you out, Doris. So let's put in, instead of the future value being what you have on there, let's put the future value as 0 because she wants to pay it off."
Right.
And then we go to payment. Go ahead and click payment
Wow.
and see only an extra $29. And she said, "Oh my God, Ken." She wanted to basically give me a big hug at that point because that's not a big deal. It's a
Right.
good thing for me, right? I don't want a balloon payment. Anything can happen to this poor lady, and
Right.
she might, not pay down the road. I want that principal payment. And so she was kind enough to talk to me on the phone, and she said, "I want to make sure that I get this payment out to you." And she was so sweet. I mean, that's every investor's dream to have another lady at the other end like that.
Right.
So,
Right.
so this is what I'm thinking. In order to make this a little bit more enjoyable for the members on the phone call, Donna, I said to myself, okay, so now I've got her paying extra to the principal, and that's fantastic because I'm going to get paid a little bit more and then have more money to invest. And I said, because I haven't had this lady for very long, I don't want her to pay off the note in the next 3 or 4 months because then I get very little or nothing, and I paid for about $600 in lawyer fees.
Yeah.
So let's just say after 3 years, I go to this lovely lady in South Carolina and say, "Doris, how would you like to have a discount where I give you $1,000 off of the note, which in 3 years, that note's going to be $8,100, and I did that by amortization." You could do the same thing by hitting future value, and you'll see in 36 months
Okay. Oops.
that she will still go down to 36.
36.
Yeah.
So she'll
And
owe.
she will owe $8,111.
Right. Right.
So I said, okay. I said, how about I haven't talked to her about this. This is just what if. So I'm going to say to her maybe 3 years from now, how about if I give you $1,000 discount? If you pay me $7,111, you can pay off that note that you owe $8,000 on. Would you be interested? So if she is, go ahead and put in $7,111 in the future value,
And now let's see what you
and
get.
then plug in interest. And instead of the 36, hold on a second. What I did is
Wait. Yeah, because this is out. Okay, so hold on. The
it would be 15. The future value would be 15,360 because you got to add in what
oops,
you
hold on.
paid up to that
Yeah,
point, which we didn't put in. This is what I did, and I wanted to have the members on board see if I might be correct, which I could be wrong. I kind of know how you're doing it. All I did was this: I just took the 3 years of the 229.45 per month, times it by 3, and I got roughly it was let me see, it was $8,260. Okay, that's what I made so far because that's what I got paid for the last 3 years, $8,260. And then what I did is I added another 7,111 because that's the discount I'm going to give her, and that would be a total of $15,360. Now, if you put the 15,360 into future value,
Except for Ken, you can't
or
really
just
do that. You can't combine the payments because it doesn't take into account time value of money though. I mean, it's overall money that
okay,
you've gotten,
okay,
but it doesn't really count.
okay,
So I think what we should
okay,
do is go back to
okay.
what was the amount you paid again? 9
The amount that I paid was 9,825, and that's why I wanted to figure this out
9,825.
tonight because I didn't think I was going about it
Yeah,
the right way.
it's not,
Yeah,
you can't
9,025.
lose on this deal because who doesn't want to go,
Right,
with $9,000, well, plus your closing costs. So what, 10,005, call it. And they're making a 24% yield or
right,
just a little less when you count the closing costs, but like you can't
correct.
lose if you,
No,
so you have it there, 24% is what you're after, and well, what you had 36,
right,
if you get 36 payments of this, and at the end of 36 months if you
right.
have this, then let's see what your yield is. It actually goes down a little bit, so you might not want to
Yeah.
offer her that unless you want.
Now, but that payment in there, but that payment, shouldn't that payment not be in there of
No,
229.45?
it should
Shouldn't that be zero?
no, because
Because technically, Don, if you have a present value of 9,825 and you're getting back 7,111, this doesn't take in consideration the 3 years that
yeah,
you got your money. So you're getting more than the 7,111. It looks like you're actually losing money because you paid 9,825 and you're getting 7,111. I mean, to me, I don't understand even how it could be a 21% return on that because I'm sure they're taking the 22945 into consideration, and
oh yeah,
maybe
right.
that's
So
it. Because
so
you know,
basically the way what this says is, and sometimes I have to try to separate it into two different things like I did before. Like I would do 36 months, um, you know, at at 229 and figure that. Then I would figure out the balloon, making this a zero, but
right?
this will actually do it all in one. So it's saying I get for 36 months, I get 36 of these, and at the end of this, I get this. And I paid this in the beginning, and so
Okay.
there's your yield. Now, that's not bad either. So you give her a great deal, you give her a
No.
deal, you're still fine. Um, and uh, uh, and then you don't have to, you can get busy doing something else with your money if you want to. Otherwise, just let her keep paying you, and
But we might be missing something though, Don, because if I sell this in 36
if you
months,
sell what?
okay, and I've got if I sell the note or
Uh
she
huh.
pays it off. I'm sorry. If I let her pay off the note, I've gotten over $8,000 in payments, plus the $7,000 that I could discount her would be $15,000. And if I started with, let's just call it almost $10,000, it would almost be, I mean, in 3 years, I've almost doubled my money. And I don't think we're doing this math correctly because in 3 years, if you almost double your money, it would almost be 100%. Well, we know we didn't do that, but it would be close to, I bet you, I mean, if you double your money on the rule of 72, 24% would double in about 3 years.
Yeah. So, well,
So
the
to
thing
me,
is, okay, I. Well, the thing is, when someone, like, this is a common thing that note sellers, you probably notice this too. They say, "Hey, this note is going to give you, $10,000 a year," but they don't. They're, that's, yeah, they're not
the time
counting the
value of
time
money.
value of money. So let's just do this separately. Let's pretend like, um, well, that's already there. You want your 24%, and you paid that. Wait, we're gonna put that as zero because we're gonna say we don't know what it's worth. Okay, so but we know
Yeah,
you're getting that, right? So you're gonna get 36 months of that. So we'll break it
right,
into two. So then we'll
right.
solve for that. So let's write that down somewhere. 5, 8, 4, 8, 4,
Okay,
1. And now let's create the other one. So where in 3 years from now, and uh, okay, we want the same yield, 3 years. You're gonna get 7,111, should we go 8111? But anyways, let's say if you want to give her $1,000 discount as an incentive to pay you off early, then how much is that worth? Okay,
Right.
that's worth 3485.98. So let me add that to the 5848.41, and yeah, it's that's really how much it's worth. That's really kind of weird. Well, that's where you're losing it. That's where you're
That's what I
losing it.
mean?
Because look, if we let her pay off the balloon like normal, isn't that about right?
Uh-huh.
Then you got 39
That's correct.
plus 5848.41, and there's your purchase price basically, right? Okay, so you could see that you're
Mm-hmm.
going to lose some of your capital by giving, but it just depends on what you want. But your yield will drop. Your yield will drop if you, uh,
Okay.
even if you
Okay.
get the early payoff.
This is true. You know, this is true because if you think about it, Don, it's not a discounted note. The way your yield would really increase is if I bought that note instead of for 8,000 or 9,825. Maybe I picked it up for like $7,000, and then in the third year I wanted to sell it for 1,000 less.
Right,
Then I
because
would
see, you
probably have a
bought
pretty
this
good
note at
discount at
par,
that
and
point.
before we, yeah, so that's where you don't have
That's
an
correct.
advantage. It's like the private loans, you don't get an advantage for
Right.
early payoff
Right.
unless you have a prepay. But if you buy a discounted
Exactly.
note, you do have quite an advantage
Exactly.
for early payoff. And even here, you would do better. You know, like if she paid it off, well, I don't know. It's negligible there, I think. But
Well, let's do this. Let's do this, Don. Let's go back to, there's another way we can look at this. Let's go back to the regular 98 N,
right,
because that's how much is remaining currently right now as of today. Let's go to 24. That stays the same. 9825 stays the same. Let's go to the, instead of a payment of 229, because the future value is
right.
zero, let's just say she wanted to pay it off quicker. So let's just say she wanted to pay $275 a month. Does that interest rate change
Yeah, you
at
go up
all?
because you're getting more money sooner.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, because you're getting more money faster. And she wanted to pay that thing off. So what I might do is after 4 or 5 months and say, listen, you know, Doris, you're such a good payer. You might as well just pay a little bit more because you're going to just get that much more time. It's going
Right.
to
So you
be
do
less
her a
for you to
favor
pay
and you
off.
do yourself a favor.
Right. Now let me ask you a question, Don. If she does the 275, the amortization schedule, if she makes 275 and it's supposed to be 229.45, how then do you write down? I mean, obviously, anything over 229.45 goes to principal, but how does that affect the next payment, or does it? Does it just keep on minusing the principal to a
Yeah,
point
like,
where you're going to get
do
that
you
down
have T
instead of,
value?
paying it? I don't. But doesn't this go with the amortization? Doesn't that do the same thing
Um,
with this
well,
calculator?
it'll tell me a lot of things, but not the uneven pay history. Because if you start with one payment, and it takes me too long
Okay.
to boot up T value because it's on parallels. But I
Okay.
would show you. So
Okay.
you're going to need T value to keep track of it, so that when you have a payment amount change, it's a really
Mhm.
easy for the system to keep track of it. Otherwise, you can in your own mind just create a new note. Like by the time you change it up with her, you go, "What's the balance now?" And
Uh-huh.
then you can run it on this thing, and have a separate amortization for the new payment. But you have to
Uh-huh.
have the new present value in there already. But I don't know. T value is $150. I can't recommend it enough as a tool to have, because things are not always
Okay.
perfectly paid. But just one point that people on this call didn't get to hear, if they weren't on Saturday's call, they're going, "Oh my God, this poor lady, owner occupied, paid 24%. Tell us more about how that happened. How did this guy lend a little lady $10,000?" And it
Yeah.
wasn't. This is not an owner carry. This is another. You're buying someone who
That's
originated
correct.
a loan, and you bought it.
That's
So
correct.
how did
That's
this? How
correct.
did this
That's
come
correct. Well,
together in the?
you know, that's a good question. I think if I'm not mistaken, she needed, if I'm not mistaken, one of them anyway, needed a new roof. and it cost her about $10,000, and I don't think she had the money for it. Now, again, when I talked to her, we're talking about an unsophisticated borrower. She said, Ken, what do you mean interest only? I mean, it's kind of a little late to ask that question after about a year and a half of
Right.
making payments.
Right.
So it's like I'm trying to do the best that I can. So number one, I've got her now on track to not having a balloon. So I think I'm doing my
Right.
service by helping her out. And if she, obviously, it's going to be even better for her if she makes more. But, I mean, that's a good question. These are, again, like I say, unsophisticated people that probably do not know what a FICO score is, or maybe they just don't want to deal with banks, or maybe they're afraid to ask for a loan, or maybe they just have some bad credit. But this lady seems like she is the nicest and most honest lady in the world. I don't know, to be honest with you. That's a good question, Don. All I know is that when I talk to the lawyer, the usury laws, they don't have
Right.
any. And obviously, if she had the $10,000 at some point or $5,000 to pay off more, she probably would have done it. She just probably doesn't have any money, and she didn't know where to go. And but that's a good question. I'm going to ask. I'll have an answer for you at some point.
Yeah,
But
so she just said, I need $10,000 and I can afford 200 a month. She really didn't understand the implications till she had a chat with you. Thank God that she had a chat with you.
that's correct. Yeah. So I mean, I feel good about that. I mean, I surely don't feel good about charging her
Well, you
24%.
didn't do it, but the
But
point is it's not breaking usury laws in South Carolina. That's one thing I wanted to point out, that it's not like this was a fraudulent loan. This was allowed under South Carolina law.
no, that's correct. Everything was handled by a lawyer, an attorney, and that's how they do things in that
Right,
state.
right. And
And I asked that question specifically. And again, by just talking to the people and just how they run the lawyer's office. They didn't even know how to scan something. This is the lawyer's office. I mean, everyone is a little bit antiquated back there, and I just don't think the lady was sophisticated enough to go to a credit union or a bank, and plus probably to get a new roof or some type of home improvement. The bank didn't want to probably screw around with $10,000. It wasn't enough in it for them.
right, exactly, exactly. So I think all things considered, this is excellent. You're at 14% investment to value, loan to value, same here because you paid par,
Yeah,
and I think the value of 70,000. Even if you had to foreclose, she died and her heirs didn't take care of it. Even if it took you 3 years, which it might in South Carolina, or 2 years, I don't know, you'd still be fine. You'd still be fine.
I wouldn't be fine at all, Don. The person upstairs would be looking down on me not too happily. I don't think I could ever foreclose on this lady. I think I would
No,
go
if
there.
what
I
I
would
was
fly
saying,
up there and do. No, I'm being facetious, but what I'm saying is I would go up there and try to do whatever I could, because this old lady reminds me of my grandmother, and I would want to do everything in my power to do everything but do what you just said.
yeah, well, yeah, and I love that, and that's how we should treat people, like they're our grandma, our brother, our sister, and keep it real personal. But what I meant is, if she died and her heirs
Oh
just
yeah,
let it
yeah,
go, and
absolutely,
you were forced,
absolutely,
and you tried everything, but you couldn't, you had to do it,
yeah,
even then you're
yeah.
okay. But
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
anyway, thanks for sharing these. And you got this because you closed one deal. How did you find that first
Right.
deal that now led to three other little deals like this?
It was just networking like like you do, and you have your programs, and we go to seminars. You just start talking to people, and you say, okay, well, if you're possibly selling something, can I give you a call? Can you tell me a little bit about it? And I'm very good about organization, getting back to people, and trying not to take advantage of anyone. And
Right,
like I said, I brought up these notes because again, they're not discounted. I mean, obviously, 24%, you don't need a discount.
right.
But, somebody needs loans, whether it be mobile homes, or my point is the lower or the smaller amount, it seems to just fit in with my IRAs. And you do 10 loans that equal, $200,000. To me, it's almost, I don't know if it's better than having one or two loans for the same amount, but, these people just seem to pay right on time. They seem to be very loyal, and they just want to do the right thing.
Yeah, I would say 95% of my exchanges with the borrowers are very pleasant and fulfilling, even if they get behind or something happens and they've got a
Right.
hiccup. To me, I don't know, I find it really enjoyable most of the time. But
Yeah.
Ken, this is so awesome, and this is the kind of thing I want other people in the community to do as well. I
Yeah.
think it's so valuable. So thanks for being on the hot seat and sharing this, and just
Yeah.
showing that you just. When did you barely decide that you would start investing in notes? How long did it take you to say, "I'm going to invest in notes to get your money working"?
Well, it was 4 years ago, and right now I currently have like, over probably 25 notes
Awesome.
working for me right now. So, it's just about, and, I have experience in real estate, and, I just feel that it's easy, it's in my blood, so to speak, and I just enjoy doing it.
And you have time to. You have little grandkids, don't you?
Exactly.
Yeah, you have time for family
Exactly.
because your money's working passively and you don't have to worry about it.
Exactly. Exactly. This is extremely passive, and like we said before, Don, going and trying to get every last dollar and going and trying to negotiate and going back and forth trying to get your $1 million. Don't worry about the $1 million. Just get your five, six, seven, $8,000 coming in every month, and down the road, whatever you have left can go to your grandkids or whatever. Just start enjoying life. I mean, be careful what you ask for. If you want to try to do 100 deals a month, God bless people who do these seminars and have done 5,000 deals and stuff. I don't know where they find the time to do anything, but to me, it's a little bit about balance and stuff, because anything over, $15,000 a month, you got to be crazy if you can't use that, effectively and run your life.
Exactly. So like just, deciding what's enough and then,
Right.
and not I don't know. There's a lot of equity that you can build that doesn't have dollar signs in front of it, but your
Absolutely.
health, your relationships, things like
Absolutely.
that. So anyway, thanks
Absolutely.
again, Ken. Anyone else want to say anything, ask anything of Ken? You want to type it in real quick. If not, thank you for being here. As always, you guys know I appreciate you very much, and I'll look forward to next time. Don't let's see. Our next thing is the 10th, Wednesday the 10th. There's a private coaching call that's kind of like a virtual coffee, except for only for the members. So if you're interested, please stay tuned for that. Okay, you guys have a great night, and we'll catch you around next time.
Thanks, Tom.
Alrighty, bye bye.
Bye bye.